So creating a generic method. Now yesterday we have seen programs wherein we have created a generic class and set of generic methods in it. Okay, now you can have a set of generic methods in non-generic class as well. I mean, you can create a non-generic class, you can have a set of non-generic methods, and in addition you can create few generic methods. So let's try to understand this concept with the help of this program. So the logic what we are trying to do in this program is, first we will create this integer array, and we will search whether this number 2, integer 2 is present in this array or not. Integer 7 is present in this array or not. This is the target. This is what we want to search. Then we will create a string array. Of this type, and we will search whether this string 2 is present in this array or not, and this 7 is present in this array or not. So let's try to achieve this target with the help of this generic method, and how. Let us try to study what is the use of this generic method and try to understand this program. So here in this program, we have created a class GenMathDemo. GenMathDemo is a class name of your choice. You can have any name. Okay. Then here you have written one public static void main, a main function. Inside main function, you have created an array of integers, 1 2 3 4 5, and you have initialized it with the elements 1 2 3 4 5. Now isLn is a function name. See, this isLn is a function name. We are passing two arguments to this isLn function. First argument is the integer element that we want to search, and second element is the array in which we want to search. Okay, so in this line we are trying to search whether the element 2 is present in array num_s. If it is present, if the integer 2 is present in num_s, then we will print 2 is in num_s. 2 is available in the num_s array. In this second line, we are trying to search whether element 7 is present in the integer array num_s. If it is there, we will go to this line. If it is not there, we will print 7 is not in num_s. Now, in this next line, we have created one array of strings. So strs is an array of string, and it is initialized with these 5 strings, 1 2 3 4 5 strings. We have initialized strs array with these 5 strings, and the same isLn function, we will search whether this string 2 is present in this strs array. If this string 2 is present, we will print 2 is in strs. In the next logic here, we will search whether this 7 string, SEVEN, this 7 string is available in this strs array or not. If it is there, we will skip, and if it is not there, we will print 7 is not in strs. So here, in the first part, we are doing searching operation with respect to an integer value. Integer array is there, and integer we are searching. 2 is an integer, 7 is an integer here, and we are searching whether this 2, 7 integer values are there in num_s integer kind of array. In the second portion, what we are searching whether this string 2, string 7 is available in this strs string array. And for checking both string and integer, we are making use of this same function, isLn function. Here also isLn function and isLn function. So isLn function is a function which basically searches for integer value in integer array and string value in the string array. So isLn function should be written generic function. Otherwise you need to write a separate function for integer searching and a separate function for the string searching. But since we are going to study here generic method here, so isLn is a generic method. Now how to write a generic method? So isLn is a function name. This isLn is a function name. It accepts two arguments. In first case, it accepts integer value and array, integer array. In second case, it accepts a string value and a string array. So first element we have defined. First element is we have considered as t. So in the first case, it will be treated as integer. Second case, it will be treated as a string. And second argument is treated as a v array. V array. So in first case this v becomes integer array. In second case this v becomes a string array. Okay. So we are passing two arguments. One is integer and integer array. So in first case t becomes integer and this v becomes integer array to handle these two scenarios. In this case this t becomes a string and v becomes string array. Okay. And what this function returns? This function returns whether the element is present or not. It means either true or false, either true or false. So return type is Boolean. Return type is Boolean. I mean return true or false. Now this is the method, this is the syntax for presiding this or declaring it as a generic method. So here static keyword, you know. So here in angle bracket, you have written t comma v extends t. Okay. So v extends t, we will, what is the meaning of this extends t, we will study in next program. But t comma v, it means isLn is a generic function. It is dealing with two type parameters t and v. Returns Boolean, accepts two argument. One is of type integer or string, whatever, and another one is string array or integer array. What is the meaning of this extends t? We will see in the next program. Now you will search for int I equal to 0, I less than y dot length. Y dot length, what is the length of this array is, that is 5. So 5 times we will run this loop and we will search whether that element is available or not. X equals yi. So whatever this 2, so 2 is available in y0. If yes, return true, else continue. If 2 is present in the second position, yes, return true, otherwise continue. So this loop will run for the 5 times, and if element is found, it will say return true. If the element is not found, it will return false. So in the first case, when you call this isLn function with 2 and numbers, so the x will become 2. In the first case, the x will become 2 and this v become numbers. So 2 is searched in this numbers array. If it is present, so it will return true. In this case, x will become 7. So this loop will run 5 times and it will search whether 7 is there here, 7 is there, 7 is there, 7 is there, 7 is there. No, 7 is not there. So it will return false. So you'll print 7 is not in numbers. And when you call this function with respect to strings, so here this first time when you use this 2's strs, so this t will become a string and it will have 2 and this become strs. So this 2 string is searched in strs. If it is there, return true, otherwise return false. So 2 is available, yes, so it will return true. 7 is not there in this array, so it will return false. So this is how you can write a generic method to deal with, to search whether that integer element is present in integer array or not, or string element is present in the string array or not. And this is the case. Suppose by mistake you try to search this string 2 in this nums array, string 2 in this nums array. So you will get an error, because an integer must be searched in an integer array, a string must be searched in a string array, but you are trying to search a string value in an integer array. So because you don't want this type of operation to happen, you have written here extends t. You have written here extends t. So extends t का meaning है कि if t is integer value, then v extends t. It means v can be either integer, float, double, anything, but type number. V can be of type number. Number can be searched in a number array. If you try that, if t is an integer and here you try something string value, so integer and strings, these are two separate classes. So if you want this kind of an what you can say validation, then extends t helps you. Okay, so this is the program for this extends. So we call it as a bounded generics. I mean, you are t, I mean, say t can be anything. T can be integer, t can be string, t can be double, t can be character, t can be of object of any type. Okay, so but you want to restrict that what kind of values that t can take. आप चाहते हो नहीं वो t सिर्फ इंटीजर होना चाहिए, डबल होना चाहिए, फ्लोट होना चाहिए, बट t ने इंटीजर के अलावा, डबल के अलावा, फ्लोट के अलावा, इन अ सेंस नंबर के अलावा कुछ और वैल्यूज नहीं लेना चाहिए. यू कैन रेस्ट्रिक्ट दैट general type to say a group of classes. It can be integer, it can be float, it can be double, but it cannot be a number, but it cannot be a say string value. Say because say if you want to calculate an average, so you can, if you want to calculate an average, अब नंबर का एवरेज निकाल सकते हो, इंटीजर का एवरेज निकाल सकते हो, डबल का एवरेज निकाल सकते हो, ओके राइट, डेसिमल का एवरेज निकाल सकते हो, बट आप स्ट्रिंग का एवरेज कैसे निकालोगे या कैरेक्टर का एवरेज कैसे निकालोगे. ओके, सो दैट्स वाई अगर इस तरीके का कोई प्रोग्राम आपको लिखना है, देन यू शुड गो फॉर दिस एक्सटेंड्स कीवर्ड. इसको हम कहते हैं बाउंडेड जेनेरिक्स. जेनेरिक इज देयर बट इट इज बाउंडेड बाय सम कंडीशन. So here in this program we have written one class stats. So stats is a class name of your choice. T extends number. So here in this program we are dealing with only one generic parameter, extends number. So number is a class. It means T can take any form of type number. I mean integer हो सकता है, double हो सकता है, फ्लोट हो सकता है, बट इट कैनॉट बी एनीथिंग अदर देन नंबर. अगर कोई फॉर्म लेता है दिस जेनरिक वेरिएबल t, so it will throw an error. So here we have created an array of type t num s. Okay, here we have constructor which takes parameter of type t array and it initializes this array. Okay, and here you have written one average function. So one temporary variable, there is one loop. What this loop does is I equal to 0, I less than nums dot length. So whatever is the length of this array, say length of the array is 5, so this loop will run for 5 times. The length of this array is say 10, so this loop will run for the 10 times, and it will calculate the sum of all the elements which are available in the array, and it will divide that sum into the length, hence calculating the average, and this function is returning the average as double, therefore the return type is double. So simple average calculation, running sum and average calculation formula is there. So here we have written a class, a main function. Here you have created an array, integer array, and initialized it with the 5 elements. Integer inum s is an array name with 5 elements. Now you want to create an object of this stats. So stat is a generic class. So stats you want that type parameter to behave like an integer. IOB is the object name, new stat, integer, and inums. So you have passed this complete array as an argument, inums. So when you call, when you create this object, and constructor gets called automatically. So this constructor gets called automatically, and this inums is passed over here, and you have initialized this num as. Then with the help of this object, you called an average function. You called this average function. So this average function will calculate the average of these 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 divided by total number of element, that is 5. So total, it will calculate an average and it will return here, and we will collect that answer here in v variable. And here in this line we are printing system.out.println the average is plus v. In the very next statement, just like we have created this integer array, we have created an array of double elements 1.1, 2.2, 3.3, 4.4 and 5.5. So this dnum as is the array name. Same, we have created an object of stats class, but this time we want that t to be behave like a double element. So we have passed here double. See, dnum as is an array, we have passed here as an argument. Same, the constructor will get called at this line. When the constructor gets called, it will initialize the num s with this array. And when we call this average function, so this average function will calculate the sum 1.1, 2.2, 3.3, 4.4, 5.5, the sum, and divided by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Length is 5. So sum divided by 5. And whatever is the average, it will throw here. We will collect it here, and in this line we will print it. So in the first case, average is 3, second case, average is 3.3. And suppose this same function, the same array, same constructor, same average function, it works for integer and it works for this double. Suppose you create a string kind of an array with these 5 elements. This double quotes indicates it's a string element 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And when you try to create an object and call this average function and print it, this will give you an error. This program won't compile. Why it won't compile? Because here you have written t extends number. It means t can take integer form, t can take double form. I mean, t can be anything of type number, but t cannot take a string form. So when you enforce, when you say have this kind of restriction in your generic program, we call it as a bounded generic, and this is how this extends keyword help us to have this bound. So the first collection class is ArrayList. Now ArrayList is a generic class. ArrayList is a collection class and ArrayList is a generic class. Now you can correlate ArrayList is a generic class. So generic class इस तरह से बनाते हैं. It means suppose you want to say have an array list. I want to create an array list for say integer value. तो the same array list class आपके लिए integer के लिए भी काम करेगा. If you want to have an array list of say string, the same array list class will work. अगर array list class generic नहीं होता तो integer के लिए अलग class, string के लिए अलग class बनाना पड़ता. So this is an advantage of generic class. So ArrayList is a collection class. It is a generic class. The declaration of this class is ArrayList angle bracket E. Okay, E, T, A, anything you can specify. So here E specifies the type of objects that the list will hold. If you create an array list to perform some operation on integer element, then this E will behave like an integer and you will work for integer elements. Now what is the use of this ArrayList class? So ArrayList class, it supports dynamic arrays that can grow as needed. ArrayList supports the dynamic arrays that can grow as needed. Now up till now, whenever we have created an array, we have say provided the length of an array, fixed length array, int a5. So integer array A is of type integer and it is a capacity of say storing 5 integer elements. And after arrays are created, they cannot grow or shrink. Normally they cannot grow and shrink. It means in advance you have to specify the size of an array or how many elements the array can hold. But many a times, before actually running your program, it would be very difficult to precisely define how large you should have an array. So this kind of situation, to handle this kind of an situation, instead of creating an array, you can take help of this collection framework or collection class ArrayList. When you want to deal with the dynamic situations wherein upfront you don't have any idea like how much your array size can grow or shrink. Okay, so instead of creating an array, you can have a list of ArrayList. And you can say have this ArrayList class. You can take help of this ArrayList class. An ArrayList can dynamically increase or decrease in size. If you click on say addition, if you add an element in an array, it will increase in size. If you remove an element from an ArrayList, it will shrink in size. Okay, so this is an abstract about ArrayList class. So ArrayList is a generic class. ArrayList is in a collection framework. It is generic class. ArrayList can work with variety of data types. And what is the advantage of having ArrayList? ArrayList supports a dynamic array. It means upfront while creating an ArrayList, you don't need to specify the size of an array. Upon inserting an element into an ArrayList, it will automatically grow, and upon removing an element from an ArrayList, it will shrink automatically. So this is the basic about ArrayList. Now let us try to understand a very simple program related to ArrayList. Import java.util.star. Since the collection classes are available in the util directory, import java.util.star will import the facility, the code which is required to import this ArrayList for normal functioning. Now we have created a class ArrayList demo. ArrayList demo, sample, this name of your choice, class name of your choice. Now main method. Inside main method, now you want to create an ArrayList. So you have to create an object of ArrayList. Now ArrayList is a class. ArrayList is a generic class. Now here in this case, you want your ArrayList to deal with string elements. So ArrayList string, object AL is the object name, new ArrayList string. You want your ArrayList to work with string values. When you want your ArrayList to work with integer values, so here string will be replaced by integer, appropriate data type that you want to say operate on. Now there are several methods ArrayList. Now you want to print what is the size of this ArrayList initially. So initial size of ArrayList is al.size. So this size method is already there in the ArrayList class. You need to simply use this method to print the size of an ArrayList. So initial size of the ArrayList is a.size. So size is already al.size. Okay, al is the object name. So size is a method which is already defined in ArrayList class. So the output is ArrayList size is 0. So initially the size is 0. Now you want to insert few string elements in your ArrayList. So first you will add ArrayList object dot add. Now add is a method which is already defined in ArrayList class, and it will insert an element into an ArrayList. So here, since you want string kind of elements, so here you have added C as a string, A as a string, E, B, D, F, all these elements one by one you have added in the ArrayList. Now this is another overloaded format of add method wherein you specify the position and value that you want to insert. So since you have inserted C, so C will become the first element, that is at the 0th position, A become the second position, third is E, fourth is B, fifth is D, and so forth. Now at first position, if you want to insert A2, that is C is at 0 index and after that A is at first index. Now at first index you don't want A, you want A2. So like this you can add an element at position number 1. Now if you want to print the size after these number of additions, now AL dot size, what is the size of array list after these many additions? So it will print the size is 7 because you have added 7 elements, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 7 elements you have inserted into an array list. So the size of an array list is 7. Now you want to print the content. Now you want to print the content of array list. So simply system.out.println print array list AL. So whatever the content is there in the array list, it will get printed. See, the content is there, C is there, then A2 you have inserted here. So A2 came here, then AEBDF. This is how you can print the content of array list. Then you want, let's say you want to remove the element F. So AL dot remove F. So AL dot remove F. So this element will be removed from the array list. This is what you can say the another overloaded format of remove method, which is already available in the array list class. AL dot remove 2. Here you have provided the position. Here 2 means the position. So the second element which is available in the array list, that is A. C is the 0th location, A2 is the first location, and A is the second location. So remove A. So this will remove A. Now suppose you want to say print the size of these array list after these 2 deletions. So system.out.println AL.size. So earlier it was 7, you have removed these 2 elements, now the size is 5. And now the updated contents of AL. So you have removed F and you have removed the second element. So you have removed F and you have removed the second element, that is A. So remaining elements are C, A2, E, B and D. This is how you can print the contents of array list. Now this is how you can create an array list, and these are few methods which we have as a demonstration here. We have seen few methods like add and remove and how to print the content in the array list. Now suppose you want to get a full idea of how this array list class looks like and what are all the methods which are available. Like add is a method which is available in the array list, remove is a method available in the array list, and what all kinds of methods are available in the array list. For that you need to go to Google and say array list class, array list in Java. Okay, let's say array list in Java. So array list in Java, let's say we open this any website, say Java Point. So here you will get an array list. Okay, this is how you can create an array list of various kinds of object of array list class. And in our program we have used the first constructor. In our program we have used this first constructor, but you can have this 2 different kinds of constructor also, and using these 2 constructor also you can create an object of array list class. And what are all the methods available in the array list? So see, these many methods are available in the array list. Okay, say you have, say add method is available. This method we have seen, add at position number 1 and what element you want. This method we have seen, add element E. This method we have seen. One is add all method is there, one is clear method is there, get method is there, is empty is there, and its description is there, and its description is also written. Say the last index method is there, to array is there, clone, it will copy an array list method is there, remove method we have seen. Okay, so these are various methods which are available in array